Make sure you're subscribed with notifications on.
What's up, DC fans? We're here for this week in DC Studios news and leaks. Maybe we're starting to understand the big bad for DCU, for James Gunn's DCU. But before we touch on that, definitely catching up with the latest DC series, The Penguin. This Penguin series is getting deeper and deeper every single episode. We are now up to the penultimate episode 7. Everything comes to head. The Maronis, the Penguin wiped out the Maronis. Like this show, when this was described as, oh, this is this power vacuum and this underworld thing, they didn't really tell us like how deep they were going to go with this. Like, but how is he going to get out of this with Sophia Gigante family? Will there still be some Gigantes as far as loyalists going into part 2? Because right now, like, man, it's an eye for an eye. Everyone needs to be wiped out. Like this, I don't see anyone surviving this show, just to be quite honest with you. But Superman and Lois. This is a show again. This is the 4th and final season. They gave us the death of Superman, the world without Superman. Now, with this season just being 10 episodes, we're at the 6th episode now, and it's kind of building some more character episodes because it started off with a bang this season, first 3 or 4 episodes. Then the last couple one, it kind of pulled it back a little bit and provided more, again, characterizations and things like that for Lex and things that's going to set up for the future. But now that we're going into episode 7 and then eventually 8, 9, and 10, we got to kind of ramp this back up now because you had a very strong start to this season. I like the whole, again, going into the character and things like that. But let's go back and knock this out of the park. And side note, and a question for you DC fans out there, DC Comics, I really like to go back to the issues and look at the references and things like that. And with Creature Commandos coming out a month from now, we're definitely going to have some comic book references that we're going to, consider watching these shows. And we're going to do our watch parties. And we're going to, again, break down these episodes in the future. But in the meantime, in the actual DC Comics, they have launched a Absolute DC imprint. This is an Elseworld for DC Comics. The sales are insane. The interest in DC Comics is like when the New 52 first came out. Everyone is so hype about it. I'm digging into the stories. And then in the mainline DC, they're going Justice League Unlimited. Like they are taking us back to like the animated series, and like I said, just DC as a whole as far as comics is at an all-time high right now. And I'm wondering, those viewers here, are y'all interested in discussing some of these DC comics? And I may bring some of those conversations over here if the interest is there. But this is just a little snippet. I think this Absolute DC, this whole thing was kind of wiping away the last probably 2 years of DC Comics because they didn't know what the hell they was doing.
Good. Wipe it away. Destroy it.
But with that being said, I would say at the end, when it's like, okay, let's kind of, tie this up and set this up for the future.
Yeah.
You got this new watchtower at the end of Absolute, Absolute Power. And because Green Arrow's a double agent, whatever. I don't want to talk about that no more. Just right now, the next chapter, as they say, is the All-In Special and Justice League Unlimited. Seeing that name, as you said, as far as like different generations with this, Justice League Unlimited, that hits to the heart to a lot of DC.
It's about the idea of shutting down the Justice League was stupid.
Yes.
I'm just gonna tell you that was freaking dumb.
Beast Wars, like it's like, okay, that was cool. That actually, you know what? That was probably the best thing they did the last 2 years was Beast Wars compared to Night Terrors and all that crap that they were doing before that. But when you say Justice League Unlimited, you perk my ears up.
Yeah.
Like, what are y'all doing, right? And so that kind of rolls into this all-in special. Have we finally figured out the ultimate big bad of this first chapter of the DCU? Before we do that, I definitely, again, appreciated all the support. One major thing to show your support is obviously make sure you're subscribed, smash the like. I'm seeing a discrepancy of views and likes. We got to get that back up. If y'all want to be a part of that conversation over here, make sure you're smashing the like. Y'all already commenting like crazy, so continue that as well. So we have here, it says Lanterns. Garrett Dillahunt joins DC series for HBO. Not too self-assuming here. Garrett Dillahunt, who is this guy, right? And why is this leading us to believe we have an idea of the big bad of the DCU? Well, first off, Dillahunt, he played in Fear of the Walking Dead, if you were fans of that show. So he's coming over. It says he's playing a modern cowboy, William Macon, a self-righteous, conspiracy-minded man who masks his ruthless ambition behind a charming and calculated facade. So what are we doing with this Lantern show? Is this going to be more terrestrial than extraterrestrial? As it says, the show, they're drawn to an Earth-based mystery. They investigate a murder in the American heartland. So what is really going on here? And having all this Earth-based stuff, people are okay, you got lanterns and you're bringing them to Earth like this. Are they trying to make this a cheap show? Seems to be that it's more than meets the eye with this person. What do we mean? So going back to saying, how is this revealing a big bad, and why should we be excited as DC Comics fans of the potential of this conspiracy-minded cowboy? Whereas people have been saying online that this cult-minded person could be under the influence of the Center. Who is the Center? And why, again, what are we talking about here? Well, the Center is a primordial entity that basically it wants to take out the Earth because mankind has ruined the Earth. So this primordial entity, this organism, this thing can change its appearance. It can project energy. It is practically immortal. Again, it can transform. There's telepathy involved, possession, psychic link. It was at one time it possessed Martian Manhunter as well. So it can possess people to do its will. And you just think of this being has sat here for thousands and thousands of years, seeing what mankind has done to Earth. So it's kind of like an environmental angle. That's the motive of this thing. And it can possess people. So we get back to this little cowboy guy, where the Center can have a cult following. So there could be a cult following in this Lantern show, basically covering up some murder, some entity on Earth. So you have the Lantern saying, hey, let's check out this, and what is going on? What's this activity on this part of the Earth? This could be the Center. This could be it taking a form within the that city or that town. There's something going on there, right? Now, a very, very interesting thing about the Center is that it can form dinosaurs, kaijus. We just talked about that last video, and I appreciate y'all checking out that recent video I did, that there's potentially some kaijus in the Superman film. They could be coming from this Center, this being. Now, of course, from comics to live action and things of that nature, it could be different elements or things that James Gunn will probably do with this. But keep in mind, this Center being was in the Justice League New Frontier animated film, and James Gunn has recently gone on record saying New Frontier is a huge influence on his DCU. And so let's put all these pieces together now. I just threw a lot of information out there right now, right? So let's bring this back together. But in that New Frontier film, you saw the Justice League reluctantly come together to battle the villain known as the Center. There's been recent rumors saying that the Center, again, this is a being that can take the form of anything. It's very powerful. It even can become its own island. It can possess people. It can create kaijus. There's recent rumors saying that the Center will be in Creature Commandos. Because again, we don't know a lot of plot of a lot of these shows and what's going to tie all these projects together. This would make sense if the Center. That's why I suggest a lot of people, I may do like a watch party of New Frontier or something, right? And we can kind of talk about, what we think Gunn is going to use for his DCU. But this Center being or some elements of it is supposed to be in Creature Commandos and even the Authority film. Now, at times people call it Dinosaur Island because it can become an island and literally create life, create kaijus to battle the just like we may have all the pieces that comes together now. As we talked about recently, Superman may have include a kaiju. We thought it was Lex Luthor doing this. It's probably the Center. And it's going to be seeded throughout all these other DCU projects, Creature Commandos, Superman, and then maybe it'll possess people in Peacemaker. We already know Lanterns is likely going to have some kind of cult following. So that's going to be this dark mystery, allegedly, this Earth-based mystery that's going to really set off this first chapter of the DCU. If this is what James Gunn is doing and seeding the Center through all these separate projects leading to a big Justice League-like team up to stop it, this could last for a couple of chapters. Like this can be an ongoing big bad and you could bring in other people. This is pretty big. If this is the DCU big bad, we are in for a pretty wild ride, multiple projects, multiple years of DC content. And you can have hints again of this Center being, which can, it can transform into anything. It can create kaijus. It can possess people. It can manipulate things. Let me know in the comments below. Like, I think we know DCU's big bad, and I gotta say, if this is what Gunn is gonna do for DC Comics fans, this is pretty brilliant. We shall see.